friends, I miss you guys. I'm going to read a story to you today. We're going to try it differently. It's going to be electric. It's on my iPad. So let's see how it works. It's called Ada Twist, Scientist. It's a dog. Ada Marie, said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world, but not making a sound. She learned how to climb and made her big break with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day, chasing each sound and sight, and didn't slow down till she conked out at night. Her parents were frazzled, but tried not to freak as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something to say when it ought to be said. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree. She climbed up the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath, and she simply asked, "Why?" Why does it tick, and why does it talk? Why don't we call it a great-granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? And why are there hairs at the inside of your nose? She started with why, then what, how, and when. By bedtime, she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child, who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. She's asking, what does it do? How soon is now? Why? Can I? How can I find out? Why does it? How does it? How? Why won't it? What is it for? Will it be the same? What if? When will it? When? What? Why? What's happening? Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist. Ada was busy that first day of spring, testing the sounds that made mockingbirds sing, when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled her toes. "Zowie," said Ada, which got her to thinking, "what is that source of that terrible stinking? How does a nose know there's something to smell? And does it stink if there's no one to tell?" She rattled off questions and tapped her chin. She'd start at the start where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. She's conducting an experiment. Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true, the terrible stink that came from Dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2. Then zowie, the stink stuck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2, it's caused by the cat. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. That test was a flop. She started again, but her parents yelled, "Stop!" Ada Marie, to the thinking chair now. By the time we count 3. Enough, said her mother. That's it, said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. Why? Ada questioned. Her mother said, no. What? Ada queried. Her father said, go. You've ruined our supper. You've made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think. She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. She's sitting in a thinking chair. She sat all alone, all by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. And so Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat, and she thought about science and Stu and the cat, and how her experiments made such a big mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question, and then she asked two. Each of those questions led her to 3 questions more, and some of those questions resulted in 4. So Ada got thinking. She really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started out why and what and how and when, and at the end of the hall she reached why once again. Parents calmed down and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and they just had to gawk. No patch of bear paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair was now the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughters and sighed as they did. What could they do with such a curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, we'll figure it out. And that's what they did, because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and the heart that is true. They remade their world, and now they're all in the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asked lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. Just trying to solve her questions. And as for that smell, what can Ada Twist do but learn all she can with her friends in grade 2? Will they discover that stink that curls toes? Well, that is the question. And someday, who knows? The end. I really miss you guys. I hope you're doing well. Bye.